Welcome everyone, my name is Gayle. Today is day 3 of our 7-day Good Morning Yoga journey, and today we're going to be focusing on our core. Let's start on our backs and hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little gentle hug. Gently rock from side to side. And then you can take your knees and circle them around in circles, so you're massaging your low back and your glutes. Reverse the direction of the circles. Place your feet on the floor and tilt your pelvis towards your heels so that your low back flattens. And this would be a posterior tilt. And now push your sit bones toward the floor to give your back a little arch. So that's more of an anterior tilt. And we want to try and maintain a little bit of a posterior tilt for most of the time when we're doing these core exercises on our back, because we don't want to arch the back and cause strain. And when the back is a little flat or neutral, it's going to tend to flatten our stomach and help us to engage into our deeper core muscles, the transverse abdominis, which is like the deepest of our core muscles. And so that's just something to remember. When your knees are lifted up in the air, it's safe and it's easier to flatten your back. Okay, so when the legs are straight, there's a little natural curve in the low back. But sometimes we have like too much anterior tilt or too much posterior tilt. And that's something that we can kind of figure out with time, like by noticing what our tendencies are and how we feel. But for now, I'd like you to interlace your fingers behind your head. Pick your legs up in the air so your legs are straight, and feel your low back relaxing into the floor. And we'll just take a couple of breaths here to tune into our breath and see if you can feel that broad breathing where your whole inner body inflates on the inhale and relaxes on the exhale. We want to breathe through our nose. This is really important because there's a lot of benefits to nose breathing, like filtering the air, filtering out viruses, bacteria, slowing the breath down, warming up the air, things like that. And so now what we're going to do, we're going to bend our left knee and straighten the right leg toward the floor as we lift our shoulders off the floor and twist the right elbow towards the left knee. Then come back to center, lift your legs up, and then we're going to twist to the other side. Come back to center. So when you twist, do the best you can to try and keep both shoulders off the floor. If you need to lean into the shoulder the side you're twisting to, that's fine. But know that if you want to challenge yourself a little bit more, you try and lift the shoulders off the floor. Now, right now as I'm demoing, I'm bringing my shoulders back to the floor in between reps. But if I wanted to challenge myself a little bit more, I could keep the shoulders lifted off the floor. And you could kind of alternate between the two. Because you'll find you get a lot more tired faster if you keep those shoulders, both shoulders off the floor in between. But there's not really a right or wrong. There's just like, what are you up to for today? Is your back feeling okay? Can you feel that activation of those deep core muscles? Are you breathing? It's always important. And we'll just go a couple more rounds here. Now you can always stop early if you feel like you're losing your form and it's just like too much for you. We want to push ourselves to get stronger, but at the same time, we don't want to injure ourselves. So it's always like seeking balance and being honest with yourself. Good, one more rep each side. Oh, good, and then relax. You kind of feel like the afterglow of doing that movement. You can hug your knees into your chest. You could circle the knees again if you like. So in order to really gain strength, we have to go to a place where we start to feel tired, where it almost feels like we could barely do any more reps. So let's do that again. So interlace the fingers behind your head, float your legs up, Take an inhale, and on your exhale, bend your left knee, twist over to the left as you straighten your right leg, hovering it toward the floor. Come back up to center, bend the right knee, twist to the right. Inhale back to center, exhale, twist to the left. Inhale to center, exhale, twist to the right. Inhale to center, exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, legs up, exhale, twist to the right. I think that's about 5, so let's aim for 5 more. This is 6 to the left, 6 to the right, 7 left, 7 right, 8 left, 8 right. You can do this. I mean, it's hard for me too. Let's see. No, I think I lost count. I think let's call that 9, and last one, 10. Good. And just let yourself relax. You can rest your feet on the floor, let your knees rest in on each other. Feel your whole back relax into the floor. And just let your breath is probably going to be a little more full now after we put in that effort. So let your breath be full, enjoy the breath. And now pick your knees up, squeeze your knees together, and open your arms out to the side. Palms can be facing up or down. If you have a yoga block, it could be nice to squeeze it between your knees, or if you had like a kind of a medium-sized inflatable ball or anything that you could squeeze into. It's not necessary, but it just adds a little extra dimension to this twist. So now we're going to work more the obliques, the side muscles. So if you have the block between your knees, squeeze the block. If you don't, just squeeze your knees together. And we're going to twist over towards the right, but we're only going to go about halfway. We're going to hold here. Squeeze your right leg up towards the left leg. And then pull your left hip back down to the ground to come back to center and twist over to the left. So whichever leg is on bottom, you really want to squeeze that up. You want to keep the ribs pulling back a little bit. Then pull your right hip down and come back to center. And we'll do 4 more of those. So squeeze, keep the lift, come back to center, twist to the left. Now if you want to make this a little harder, you start to bring your heels further away from your hips. And come back to center. That's 2, we're on number 3. Squeeze, hold, breathe. Come back to center, over to the left. Squeeze, hold, breathe. Back to center. I think that was 4, last one. So squeeze as you twist. You can also lower a little closer to the ground if you want a little more, of a workout. And last one, over to the left. Good, come back to center, release the block, and just float your legs and your arms up in the air in what we call dead bug pose. So let your shoulders be heavy into the floor. Your feet just float up over your hips. Focus on your breath. And surrendering here. So let your back feel heavy, and your hands and your feet feel light. Then we're going to rock up to tabletop and come onto our forearms. Lower your legs to the floor. Think of doing a little bit of posterior tilt to your pelvis, so the tailbone reaching towards your heels. Just reaching forward. We're coming into what we call Sphinx pose. So let your ribs relax downward. Gently pull your shoulders back and gently push your chest forward. So what we're trying to do is lengthen out this curve in our low back and get a little curve into the upper back. So forearm plank is a great core strengthener. We want to engage our whole bodies, actually, not just our hands and our elbows. So even as you're here in Sphinx pose, push into your hands and notice how that takes a little bit of weight out of your elbows. By default, we're gonna lean into our elbows. So push into your hands, tuck your toes, lift your belly. Now you can keep your knees down or you can lift them up. We're gonna come into plank pose. So try not to let your back sag and arch. You wanna lift up through the belly, stretch your tailbone towards your heels, push into the pads of your fingers. Feel how the inhale kind of lifts you up a little bit and the exhale relaxes you. Engage your legs. So if your legs are relaxed, it's going to put more weight, more work into your shoulders, and it's not going to distribute the work so evenly. So we want to engage the legs, push into the big toe mounds, push into the pads of the fingers. Feel the ribs kind of knitting together rather than flaring apart. And attitude is key. So you want to be relaxed enough that you can smile, even though it's hard. So let's try and hold it for about 10 more seconds. If you need to come down, come down. Otherwise, just see if you can put in that little extra effort. 3, 2, 1. Oh, lower down. Oh, notice how good that feels. To stop. It's like the effort is when you're doing it, and then it feels really good when you stop. And we'll do that again, and I'm going to give you an option to add on if you want. So you can do the forearm plank just like we did before, or I'm going to show you a little movement that you can add on if you want. So tuck your toes, draw the low ribs in, push into your hands, let the hips float up. And if you want, you could walk your feet over to the right, walk back to center, and walk your feet over to the left. Walk back to center, walk to the right, walk back to center, walk to the left, come back to center, and one more time. Walk over to the right, or stay where you are. Come back to center, walk over to the left, come back to center, and lower everything down. And again, just relax here. Maybe kind of sway your torso from side to side. And stretch your arms forward, point out through your toes. We're gonna work more on the back side of our core. So on your next inhale, float your right arm and your left leg up together and lower down. Inhale, float your left arm, right leg up. Exhale, lower down. We're just gonna alternate lifting from side to side. Seeing how high you can lift your arm and lift your leg. Just challenging yourself back and forth. So that was 3, we'll go for 10. So 4. 5, lift and lower and lift and lower. 6, lifting both sides, one at a time. 7, 8. Maybe you find you get a little more height as we move along. 9. And last one. Lift the right arm, left leg up, lower down. Left arm, right leg up, lower down. And now see if you can lift both arms and both legs up at the same time. Reaching out through your fingers, reaching out through your toes. And bend your elbows, pull back. And stretch forward. Exhale, pull back. Inhale, stretch forward. Exhale, back. Inhale, forward. When you pull your elbows back, notice how you maybe get a little extra lift. Feel the glutes working. We'll just do 2 more of these. Last one. Now hover your hands right above the floor, just like below your shoulders, keeping the shoulders lifted. And then press down with your hands and your feet and rise up into a little cobra. Lower all the way back down again. Tuck your toes, hug into the midline. So hug like from the outside of your body toward the inside of your body. Think of lifting your belly away from the floor a little bit. It probably won't lift physically, but feel that hug gets a little lighter. Keep the shoulders lifted. And press up into plank. So in plank, we want to keep the tailbone reaching towards our heels a little bit. Press into the pads of the fingers. Squeeze the legs in towards each other. And then you could rock back through your heels and onto your toes. And come back to hover. Bend your knees, lift your hips up, stretch back into your down dog. Again, grip through your finger pads, reach your hips way back. Keep the belly and the ribs lifted. Reach out through your heels. And come back into plank. And see if you can shift your weight into your right hand, pick your left hand up, touch your shoulder, lower the left hand down, shift your weight to the left, pick the right hand up and touch. Now you don't have to do this. You could hold with plank, you could have your knees down, or you could just glide from side to side. Picking up one hand and then the other hand. Just lightly tapping your shoulders. And one more time each side. Now see if you can slowly lower down, keeping the shoulders nice and lifted. Point your toes, press the top of your feet into the floor. Curl up into your cobra. Good, slowly lower down. Tuck your toes. Press back to your down dog. And walk your feet forward to your hands. Lift and spread your toes. Keep the spread of the toes, sprinkle the toes down. Press strongly into your feet and slowly rise all the way up to stand. Reaching your hands up into the sky. And bring your hands together in front of your heart. And we'll do one sun salutation, just to kind of feel the integration of the core and how that supports us through movement. So as you inhale, sweep your arms up. And as you exhale, forward fold. Place your hands down, step back into your plank. You can keep your knees lifted, keep that legs hugging in, or you can lower your knees to the floor. It's up to you, whatever feels safe for you. Keep the engagement of your core as you bend your elbows, lower all the way down. Point your toes, curl up into your cobra. Slowly lower back down. Tuck your toes. Press up to plank and back to downward facing dog. Three-legged dog. So step your left foot in a little bit, reach your right leg up, and then reach back through your toes. Hug your knee into your chest, step your foot all the way forward to your hands. Keep the back toe lifted, rise up, crescent lunge. Reach up through your fingertips and up through your heart. Press into the big toe mound. Lower your hands down. Step back to your down dog. Step the right foot in a little bit, sweep the left leg up. Reach back through your toes. And hug your knee into your chest, let your back round. Straighten your leg as you step forward. Rise up, crescent lunge. Again, push into both big toe mounds. Reach up to your heart, extend out through the fingers. And with control, lower your hands down. Step back to your down dog. Walk your feet forward. And we're gonna come into a squat. So the best squat that you can, you don't have to, if you can't lower all the way down, that's okay. Let your knees open out to the side, sink your hips down, keep some weight into your heels if you can. So if you need to be up a little bit, if you don't have the length in your ankles, like that's okay. Don't lower all the way down. If you can lower down, and lower your hips to the floor. So one last little strength movement, strength control, is to lower your back down slowly to the floor. And to do that, you want your back to round a lot. So you can posteriorly tilt the pelvis, kind of tuck your tailbone in, round your spine, tuck your chin in, press into the floor with your feet, squeeze into your legs with your inner body, squeeze your legs towards each other, and slowly lower down, letting your back round as much as possible. Try to control the descent. And slowly lower all the way down. When the back of your shoulders touch the floor, hug your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little loving. You can never give yourself too much love, because you can, that love that you give yourself can then like extend to others, and you can like radiate that love out. So start to stretch out through your legs. Let your feet flap open towards the corners of your mat. Let your palms face up and let your whole back relax into the earth. Feeling that connection with nature, with the earth. Like Mother Earth, we call her that for a reason, right? Like the earth nurtures us. It provides beauty. It provides substance, our food. It affords us opportunities for growth and adventure. Focus on your breath, breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. Let your whole back relax, and let your whole body relax into Savasana. So I'm going to stay here with you for about 10 breaths. And if you want to stay longer, that's great. If you have the times, you can stay a little bit longer in the Savasana. Otherwise, just stay with me for these 10 breaths, probably about 6 breaths left now. And just surrender to being fully present in this moment. To feel the power and softness. And feel the movement and the stillness. Slowly begin to bring some movement into your fingers and toes. Bend your knees, gently roll to your side. And just pause for breath here. And using your hands and your arms, gently roll up and press up to a comfortable seat. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you feel stronger and powerful and ready to go out and do whatever it is that you want to do today, and do it with a feeling of like confidence and power and strength. I hope you join me again tomorrow for day 4 of this 7-day good morning yoga journey. And please subscribe to my newsletter if you haven't already. Tell your friends, and I really enjoyed practicing with you. Namaste. Sign up for my email list with the link in the description below for special events and inspiration for healthy living. Thanks for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye.